Hey everybody, welcome back to another vendor update. I hope you guys are really enjoying these updates. I'm actually enjoying recording them because I'm getting to find out about these vendors and what they've done, usually in the last year or so, that's really moved their business forward and given us lots of information about how they're helping the MSP community build just a better mousetrap for everything from cybersecurity to email to AI. We're covering it all. And today I have special guests with me. I have Scott Green and Susan Nemeth from Aportio. Hey guys.
Hey, how are you, Eric?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So Aportio has been doing some great stuff this year. You guys gave me a couple of things to talk about today. But first of all, let's talk about Aportio and what it is so that the people who haven't seen the other videos that we've done get an idea of what you guys do.
Why don't you start, Scott, and I'll butt in.
Yeah, sure. No, so basically, Aportio does three key things. So we provide Inbox Agent, which is a email management tool for using artificial intelligence to read, categorize, and classify inbound, predominantly email conversations, and then creating and updating tickets in a range of PSA systems, including Autotask, ConnectWise, and ServiceNow. That's the first part that we do. The second part is we use generative AI to provide a deep set of customer insights around customer sat, kind of key trends where opportunities for automation exist. And the third thing we do, which is a more recent addition, is some more sales enablement based on our experiences building out some real-time pricing and proposal solutions for managed services for MSPs.
Susan, anything to add to that?
Yeah. So I guess when you talk about mousetrap, I'm really curious about your definition. But I guess what we've positioned ourselves at the beginning of a process. So many times we see automation solutions or CPQ tools or different tools out there that sort of take it after a human has had. They do automation after a human has had to kick something off, and so a lot of the tools and a lot of the thinking we've got is around doing that piece that comes before some of the common tools, that gap that got missed in the automation. So if you're going to automate, I know it's silly, you wouldn't push start a Tesla, right? So we're basically saying, well, let's do the automation to start the automation rather than getting a human to kick off that automation. And so we keep finding these slots where people have, the solutions out there are missing that little starter piece.
Well, and that makes sense because one of the things that AI is really good at is looking at things and then suggesting, solutions. And so if you're putting the AI first, it's actually saving the human a lot of time by not having to triage or come up with the different ideas on how to solve that problem. It's giving them solutions that they can enable more quickly.
Yes,
Yeah, and I think
sorry, Scott, go ahead.
yeah, no, no, that's right. No, I think you're right, and we're certainly we've seen an explosion of Gen AI enabled kind of approaches to solving problems for service providers, and for us, the real focus has been continuing to really focus on that front end piece and do that exceptionally well. Rather because we know that's a problem that needs to be solved. Whereas I think there's a lot of kind of applications of Gen AI where people are still saying, "Look, I think I've got a solution, but I'm not quite sure the problem that I'm solving." And so, we're laser focused on really that front end piece.
And it also sounds like you're doing a lot from the sales aspect. I mean, Susan, you mentioned CPQ tools, things like that. What are you doing that is really going to help the MSP in their sales process? Because Scott, you mentioned sales enablement as well, and that's something that I think every MSP needs a little bit more of.
Yeah, well, certainly it's interesting. Whenever we talk to MSPs, I know the one thing that will always get their attention and get them in a conversation is if we talk about a new opportunity that they can close faster and new revenue. And lots of what we do is about retaining and improving the quality of the experience for existing customers, but it's actually the get me new business is the thing that really excites them. So certainly on the back of the last 20 plus years experience in building and running MSPs, we know that getting a quick estimate to a customer around what is actually a very complex piece of business around managing an environment that they have and being able to give them the sense of, well, this is what you're likely looking at from a budgetary point of view, and this is the scope, and being able to qualify that customer through using sales or pre-sales capability before you go into deep dive is a problem that they all face, because it's a bottleneck in their business, and the longer they take, the colder the lead gets. And so what we've been building out is a capability to really accelerate that discovery process, and also the quick creation of if you like, a round arm swing, kind of what's the, at a high level, what are you looking to invest to kind of solve this problem? And that is helping to really qualify opportunities better and faster, so that they spend more time on the right opportunities rather than running around trying to kind of solve a problem for too many people.
And this is something we did when we were at a company called Axon, which is like we had 200 plus staff when we sold the business to NTT, and at that point there was we had the spreadsheet that it was a monolith. There was one person that could really drive it, and there was a couple of people that could kind of use it. But because IT is usually complex, it's not about just a product add on. Yes, we do sell product as well, but most of the solutions, both in the professional services and in managed services, they're complex solutions where you're pulling together a whole bunch of things. And having been there, and my next role was a buyer in a law firm of all things, buying IT services, and the guys would come out, the same guys that I used to work with used to come out and try to sell me stuff, and I go, okay, so I'm trying to work out, there's all these things to do. Are we talking about $10,000 here? Are we talking about $500,000? Because I have no idea. When we started talking about it, all these things, and most of them would say, okay, well, we'll go back to the office, and 6 weeks later, by the time I'm bored, I'm talking to their competitor, they come back and go, oh, that's only $100,000. And I'm going, great, I just bought it for 90 from your competitor who was faster at this than you were. so there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, it's like, I always talk about, I've got a finance degree, but I also have a psychology minor. And I think I use that psychology minor more than I use my finance degree, because it's all about, sales is all about trying to work out how you can convince somebody to buy your product the way you want to sell it. And if it takes you 6 weeks to figure it out, it's gone. So that's why we created that. But the other thing we're also creating is on the back of the Gen AI stuff is really trying to understand your customers so you know what they need. So doing the Gen AI assessment of all your ticket notes, there's a couple of things that come out of it. There's the sentiment stuff, but the sentiment stuff needs to be attached to what product we were selling and who was serving you. There's lots of angles that you need to look at to understand that. And then you want to take that into your QBRs. You want to talk about this great way to brag in your QBRs and help your customers see the fee is this high because of, you got these 5 people that call us every hour. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can talk about and to change behaviors. Not only that, you'll figure out actually they could really use this, an additional product to reduce the impact on their staff, increase, what somebody was saying yesterday, increase the value of life for these people is in terms of it's there's nothing on the buyer side of an MSP equation. There's nothing more frustrating than when the people in your organization are frustrated, whether that's right or wrong. But to take that back to management and to be able to say that these people are frustrated, can we talk to them about their frustration? So there's so many things you can do once you really understand what's in your ticket. So those are both areas where we're taking, whether that initial step, but again, it's the initial step in your conversation. The initial step in your QBR is actually understanding what happened last month in your service desk. Because your service desk is the eye to your customer, right?
Yeah. And, I think that's a great use of AI because you're able to take the unstructured data from ticket responses, from, CSAT surveys and things like that. And the AI can go through them much faster and produce really good information to bring to those QBRs and summarize to get an overall view, as well as drill down into some of those problem areas like those 5 users that are calling every 15 minutes.
So also, yeah, I think the experience we've seen with some of the customers who we're using this service with is that it's actually surfaced problems or opportunities in their own business that, if they walked around the office and asked the question, everyone's, oh, no, there's nothing to see here. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, we fixed this months ago. You go, well, yeah, but hold on a moment, we're still seeing 20% of the conversations that are coming in the door are inferring that we actually haven't fixed this at all. So it just helps to put the spotlight on things that might otherwise just be missed.
Interesting. Now, I've got an interesting, this is maybe a little off topic, but that's okay. I'll give you guys some more time. I was working with somebody on an M&A of an MSP recently and started using some AI to be able to ask it some questions about the documentation. And so it sounds like it's that kind of information. It's that unstructured data that it allows you to now mine for value and find trends and just things that are going on that are opportunities for the MSP as well as opportunities for the MSP to go and sell to their clients.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of little indicators, that if they're like they're surrogate indicators of a problem, and they're like a needle in a haystack, and I think what Gen AI and both in the sales enablement, but also in the identification of automation opportunities, and kind of process improvement or people improvement, that it actually puts the spotlight on those things that otherwise would just be impossible to detect. And so I think the challenge, for us and for anyone operating in this space is to kind of help draw those threads together for the customer, so they can sort of see, okay, well, actually, if you're worried that your CSAT's not where it needs to be, here are the 3 key places you could look, rather than just saying, well, your CSAT's up or your CSAT's down, which is not helpful.
I think one of the challenges we have is that as you say, basically, there's so many things Gen AI can do. Eric, the imagination is limitless on what you can do. But I guess it looks, because it's so limitless, people start wondering what they should use it for. And when you have so many options, it just seems too hard, and nothing happens. And nothing happening is no longer an option. I think, even a year ago, you could kind of go, yeah, we're still investigating AI to see how it can help. It's not an option anymore. People need to look at the ways that AI can help them, and it's not about introducing a whole bunch of risk into your AI. There's so many things around the information and understanding of your clients and your environment that doesn't run the same risks as when you start hearing about data privacy issues. Those risks don't sit there when you're just mining your own data and trying to understand it. And so, yes, you should be, yes, be very careful. Privacy and getting hallucinations is a problem, no question. But both of those are getting better. And there's so many things you can do with AI before you have to start causing the risks that people seem to start the conversation with, instead of saying, well, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch we can do, and we have to do it. We can't wait anymore because everybody else in the market is doing it now.
Yeah. I think, Susan, you said it earlier when you were talking about putting the AI first. I think it dramatically speeds up the workflow by giving it to the AI first and then giving it to a human to mitigate, those hallucinations and things like that. So what are you guys doing in 2025? What are the things that we can expect in 2025 from Aportio?
Yeah, look, I mean, maybe the first thing that's probably worth emphasising is that the core, where we started, which was around that email inbox management, is still a really important capability for us. And what we're seeing is that we keep adding new functionality. I mean, the last 3 months we added 34 new features around how inbound email is received, cleaned, associated with the right conversation, associated with the right person, correlated with other related conversations. And all of those, it's actually, it's like peeling back the layers of the onion. Every time you think, okay, we've finally got it nailed, there's a new edge case. So in this space, what we're seeing is the real value we bring and will continue to focus on is really dealing with the complex, gnarly edge cases that make it sense. It means it makes sense for the service provider to actually invest in an add-on for email management that may be in addition to an inbuilt parser that's already there in their PSA. But because we can solve more complex problems, that it actually says, okay, well, what it's solving is stuff I just cannot solve over here. And it's a big enough problem that it's worth actually having this add-on. So, we're finding that we're really drilling out into, deep into the edges to solve really complex problems in that space. So that's going to continue in 2025.
And I guess the two other ones is really launching the ticket assessment, the customer insights piece. We've been doing it in non-IT customer services for 18 months or so now, where we're now fine tuning the onboarding and the messaging back, the dashboards and such, which will continue to be developing as we get more and more feedback on there. So that's really getting pushed out now. And the estimation tool, we've got our first customer that we're setting up right now, a large Australasian MSP. So once we have that, they're challenging us with all the niggles and bits and pieces that most people, that others may not even see for a while, but because we're using somebody that's quite large, it gives us that opportunity to pick up all the different pieces. So that's that project will be launched. It'll go live at the end of March, and then it'll be ready to go to market from there.
That sounds great. If one of the All Things MSP crew wants to find out more about Aportio, how do they do that?
Well, you contact either myself or Scott on LinkedIn, or email sales@aportio.com, and we'll be back to you as soon as possible.
Awesome.
And of course, our website is aportio.com, aportio.com.
Great. Thank you guys so much for doing this today. I really do appreciate it. And I wish you guys the best of luck in 2025.
Thanks, Eric. That was great.
Lovely to see you again, Eric. Thanks for your time.